Top of the morning. It's Monday. I'm at my first 2 drop locations, both being at the same facility grounds, 2 different electrical companies, and I drop here almost every day. Today I have a total of 7 stops, and something that I was going to touch on, I've just been noticing over this last couple weeks that the freight volume, the amount of stops, as well as the drive time has been gradually decreasing. They'll have a day or 2 a week where I may get 8 or 9 stops, but for the most part it's been 5 to 6, which is extremely slim compared to what I have been getting. It's been a total of 4 months that I've been running this, which is great considering that I got this off the Curry app, and you usually don't get this type of contract from those type of gig apps, so it's definitely been a blessing. But I've just been noticing that, yeah, the volume, the drive time, and so forth has been dwindling, to say the least. And here, if you just take a quick look, all I have for this stop is those 3 small parcels. So, like I said, it's extremely light. Normally, I have a large amount of pipe similar to what you see here. But today, the only thing I'm dropping, which I'll pull it on off right now, are these 3 small parcels. So what you see there is what I'm dropping. So like I said, things are getting extremely slim. And even here at my next stop, as you can see, I got a handheld box off to the Batmobile. It's crazy how people at these different facilities get to know you pretty quick. Normally I don't drive my truck in here. It's 2 spots that I drop at periodically. The main spot is off to the right where you see that pickup truck bagging up. And so normally, like I said, I'll park the truck out on the road. I'll just walk the freight back because it goes onto this small trailer here. As you can see, it was a spool sitting there as I pulled to it. Yeah, the guard attendant, because before you come in here each time you have to check in, put your name into their system, provide them with your email, and they print you a temp badge. So as I was checking in, the guy said, "You're actually gonna drive in today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got 3 spools." So it would have been awkward trying to carry them. So yeah, it would have been kind of rough trying to carry these 3 guys about, I would say, a city's block walk back here. So yeah, I just went with the smarter choice, which was to drive on in. Normally I don't drive in, and I'll carry whatever I have. One, because I'm not lazy. I like to get exercise. We in these trucks driving for long periods of time as it is, so I don't mind walking. But secondly, a lot of these semi drivers get held up here. They have to wait on the door and so forth, and they won't communicate with you. So I've seen people come over here and be sitting behind a semi who's gonna be waiting for an hour, and they're waiting with them, not knowing they could go in, check in, and move on up ahead. What we got? Stop number 6. I got 1, 2 tree. And then I got this skid that I'm gonna be running out to Macomb. Like I said, this is a pretty slim route. Macomb is gonna give me the drive time that they need to make it worth their while, but volume wise, not a whole lot. There you have it. We are unloaded. About an hour from my 7th and final stop in Macomb, Illinois. And as I was touching on, the freight volume has dwindled. They kind of say don't ask questions you don't want to know the answer to. But about a little over a month ago, I asked the guy that oversees at the customer that I'm contracted through Curry with. I asked him how long would it actually last? Did he have any idea? Because Curry was telling me that it was until further notice with no end date. The way it was explained to me by the customer was that back in July when Curry pulled me in to perform the dedicated route, they had just lost 2 drivers at the same time. So 9 times out of 10, now we find out the truth. I've probably been covering for both of those drivers for this last 4 months, which is fine. I'm the guy for the job, but the point that I'm making is they've been trying to replace those 2 drivers for this last 4 months. They have a van or 2, as well as a couple of 16-foot box trucks. So they've been paying me as an owner-operator or independent contractor through Curry to cover their freight when they have their own vehicles, which I'm sure is paid off, but they still have to maintain insurance and so forth. So once they secure these couple drivers, they already have one. I've been seeing him the last few weeks. I've never really had a conversation with him because I'm usually in and out. It ain't a whole lot of conversation. I load my stuff, I organize it, I take a picture, and I'm gone. It ain't a whole lot of small talk with me. I see the guy, but I've never really had a conversation with him. And they have one person in place. So, quite naturally, I'm sure they're trying to secure the second guy. And he'll likely replace me. So I already have an understanding of all of this. But yeah, this was explained to me about a month and a half ago that they had simultaneously lost two guys back to back. And just my personal opinion about the position, just being 100% honest, I feel like the guy that's overseeing the duties at the customer, and as well as the higher ups above him, I get a feeling they're used to more of an employee style of operation. I feel like they dealt with me as an independent contractor because they had no choice, and due to the fact that, once again, I showed up every day and got the freight delivered. But when individuals are used to directing an employee, it's a big difference when you bring on an owner-operator. Most owner-operators gonna have a different approach as well as a different attitude. To me, you give me the freight and you let me handle the rest. With a driver, it's a lot of back and forth communication, contact, and so forth. Not to say that an owner-operator isn't going to deal with the same thing, but it's more direction with an employee. Anybody that's an owner-operator will understand where I'm coming from. So I feel like they're used to, like I said, more an employee style of dealings. And I feel like they did get a feel for my personality and the way I like to operate. But at the same time, they have a way that they like to do things as well. So I feel like at the end of the day, they're doing what's best for them. You know, they'll utilize me for the time being, but I knew it wasn't going to be a forever thing. And just the feel that I got, like I said, they'll probably do much better with an employee style situation as opposed to an owner operator. There hasn't been a whole bunch of issues, hiccups, or so forth. We had a small miscommunication, we cleared it up, met in the middle, as business should be handled, and not a whole bunch to complain about. But at the end of the day, they have to do what's best for them, operation and financial wise. So for me, I just take this one day at a time, because like I said, I have an understanding that none of these type of routes, contracts, and so forth will last forever. Situations can always arise where the circumstances change. So me knowing that, like I said, I just take this stuff day by day, one day at a time. But like a month ago, I was just kind of curious, because I'm like, at that point we were 3 months in and nobody was really saying nothing. Everything was steady. They had work for me every day, which up until now they still have. But I understood that it wasn't going to be a forever thing. So I don't know the exact date that this dedicated route will end, but what I will say that it will be soon, more than likely. And I'm just being 100% honest and transparent with you guys. It's not going to last the entire winter, I'm sure of that. But the good thing about the situation is, throughout these 4 months, I've shown up every day, but 2 that I had a vacation that I took a Thursday and a Friday I took off. Other than that, I've shown up every day within the allotted time frame and completed everything they've had for me to run. So in my opinion, that makes me look really good in the eyes of Curry. And another thing that I'll touch on, Curry, from what I see in the app, has numerous different opportunities that have been coming up. One that I utilized about a week ago, where I got $800 to go 238 miles right onto the edge of Illinois, out by St. Louis. So those opportunities come up more often than not. And one thing that'll be a plus side to it whenever it does end is, in this freezing cold weather, I'm not obligated day in, day out each morning to get up and run my truck in that type of weather and be obligated to be at this particular customer. And that's something that I honestly wasn't looking forward to. In the winter, you know, I'm seasoned, I've ran plenty of winters, but I'd rather not be obligated or contracted to a route in extreme weather conditions, because these people are going to still expect you to show up and complete the task at hand. You're their guy. So, like I said, I wasn't really looking forward to having to be up each morning at 6 or 7. I want to try to pick and choose when I run my truck in this cold weather season, because last year, if you guys go back, you'll see a bunch of us experienced a bunch of cold weather related issues, which I've talked about this. Your truck will run perfectly fine throughout the year. And when that temperature drops below, say, 15 degrees, oftentimes issues arise with these trucks that would have never arose had the cold weather not set in. So me knowing this and being somewhat seasoned, I want to try to avoid even starting my truck in the blistering cold weather. I want to run around those points and periods if possible. And so me not having this dedicated route, it kind of frees me up to where I can again begin to make my own schedule. And that's something a lot of individuals need to think about when they ask for these type of routes. Although, like I said, I've shown up every day for 4 months straight. One thing that I will say is, at times, it's difficult because you'll end up running other freight as well. You have to keep that slot open for that dedicated route, or keep them informed of any delays on your arrival due to you running other freight, which they're not going to be extremely happy about. Attempting to run during the day and also utilize opportunities that may come up at night can be challenging schedule-wise. So this is something individuals need to think about when they ask for these dedicated routes. Because see, most individuals are used to an Amazon relay style trucking company where they pick and choose when they want to or don't want to run. And that way, any other obligations that they have, they're able to tend to around the times that they run their truck. With the dedicated routes, you want to be cognizant of the fact that that's priority and everything else is secondary. And that's how I've kind of approached this dedicated route. Not to be too long-winded, but I've missed numerous opportunities with Amazon Relay due to not wanting to cause conflict with my dedicated routes schedule. And although I've done that, the dedicated route, which I may make less overall, is more profitable. So I make less money with this dedicated route because I charge them moderately. And that's something I'll touch on as well. If I'm gonna do a day-to-day thing with Curry or a week-to-week, then I'm gonna charge appropriately, which is likely gonna be on the higher end. With this being dedicated, and they told me it didn't have an end date, it was something that I didn't want to miss out on. So I didn't charge them what I would have charged them for the same route if it was day-to-day or week-to-week. The charges would have been higher. But like I said, with it being as close to it is to my home, and with the routes being in a smaller area, overall, even though I make less, it's still more profitable. Something else that we talked about, and he was kind of explaining, which I already understood, was the bulk of what I'm delivering daily are electrical and construction supplies. Mostly electrical equipment that they use to set up the electrical systems for different buildings, various different buildings. So what we kind of both agreed on was that construction, electrical work substantially slows down during the winter months. The same as would be road construction. Usually a lot of that stuff gets cleaned up before the first snowfall of the year. Right now I'm dropping off one skid with 2 small boxes on top of it to Western Illinois University. And I'll tell you, if you don't know the campus, twice I've spent 30 plus minutes here looking for central receiving, which now I understand exactly how to get to. But like I said, if you have no idea of the campus layout, then you'll be here for who knows how long trying to figure it out. One way I remember is that green and brown building to the left is right near or directly across from central receiving. So it's 12:18 p.m. What I'm being told is they may not have anybody to unload me. Yeah, I take it it's a good chance they're on break until 1 p.m. My lucky day. As I was jumping in the truck, a lady showed up. I remember her from the last time I was here, so she's gonna pull a fork truck out and unload me. That way I don't have to bother with flipping this lift gate out. All right, have a good one. Thanks. Appreciate it. So I got a nice little ride back home after I just completed stop number 7. It's approximately 12:30 p.m. Monday morning. And if you made it this far in the video, let me know you still here. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna end this here. So as usual, you guys stay safe out there. Take it easy and have a good one. Appreciate you.